Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Belton here. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to calculate the odds of corruptions and the cost accounting for it. The title is, I suppose, a little clickbaity, but it is accurate. And so I don't waste your time, here is the item. We have hit a 5-5 dexterity and intelligence jewel, and when I say hit, somebody else did and I bought it. But that's full disclosure. However, I only paid 2 mirrors for this. I saw it get listed, got super excited, and to the guy's credit, he was super cool about it. At the time, I had about 700 divs on me. I told him it would take me about a day to get 2 mirrors together, so I needed to make about 1,200, 1,300 divs in a day, which I ended up doing fairly easily, so was able to pick that up. Now brings my new attribute stacking character to roughly 3,200 total attributes. I will do a video just sharing the build and all my gear and stuff sometime soon. But this is the jewel in question and the item I'm referencing in the YouTube video title. And so here, as a proxy for this, we're going to go over how you can calculate the odds for a corrupted mod by using this jewel and to do the cost accounting for it. So the first thing that you're going to need to find out, obviously, is the price of a baseline jewel. So in this case, it would be a dexterity and intelligence against the darkness. The rolls do not matter on it. In fact, you just want to buy the cheapest one that is uncorrupted, because when you use a Vaal Orb and it chooses the outcome that we want, the first thing that it's going to do is effectively divine the rolls on it. And so in that case, buying a 4-4, for example, if it's significantly more expensive than like a 2-2 or a 2-3 or whatever the cheapest ones are, it's going to significantly increase the cost. There is some merit to corrupting the ones that have higher rolls if the enchanted mods, which is obviously one of the Vaal possible outcomes, adds a significant amount of value. You'll have to do the cost accounting for it, but typically it's going to just be best case scenario, depending on the overall amount of corruptions it takes, to just buy the cheapest one. So the things that you're going to need, again, you're going to want the uncorrupted jewel there. You're going to need a Vaal Orb, and then you're going to need a Omen of Corruption as well. I think I have one of those lying around here. Whatever. Omen of Corruption. The Omen of Corruption here. So if you look at the text, it says, while this item is active in your inventory, your next Vaal Orb will be more unpredictable. Now, obviously, that doesn't give too much information, but it's pretty simple. What an Omen of Corruption does is it removes do nothing as an option. So for all the corruptions in the game, they've changed it so categorically different types of items will have different Vaal effects. I do have a video on how Vaal Orbs work and corruptions work, which I'll link below this description if you're unfamiliar. However, no matter what item it is, 25% of the time, one of the options is to do nothing. And so by using the Omen of Corruption, it removes that, changing it to simply have 3 options. Now, so with a jewel, which is a unique item, the 4 options that can happen with a Vaal Orb are, number 1, do nothing. And as I mentioned, the Omen of Corruption is going to remove that as a possibility, which leaves remaining only the ones are labeled number 2, 3, and 4 here. So the second thing it can do is to re-roll the mod range between times 0.78 to times 1.22. So plus 22%, minus 22%, after, and this is important, after divining the mods within their natural range. This will apply to all of the modifiers that have an integer value on the item. So, for example, on Hawa, which has, dexterity, intelligence, the attack speed, and the lightning damage, all 4 of these independent affixes have an integer value, right? Whereas on certain other items, you might have some that just don't. Where there's no numerical value to change. I don't actually have any one of them equipped right now. Or here, instant recovery, for example. If you look at Olroth's Flask, that obviously doesn't have a numerical value, so naturally that doesn't do anything to it. But any individual line with an affix that has a numerical value attached to it, it will do this, and it does them independently. So it doesn't divine them all at once. When it doesn't choose the multiplier, it won't. If it picks times 1.22 for the first mod, it's not like it picks times 1.22 for all of them. Each one is calculated separately. Now, the third thing it can do, the third thing it can do is to add a socket. Now, if the item does not have a socket, it will do nothing. Even though it does nothing, it doesn't count as the same thing as the actual line do nothing. It's still a 1 in 3. It doesn't become a 1 in 2. The fourth thing is for it to add an enchant. So in our case, we're going to be using Omen of Corruptions because the uncorrupted jewel by itself was 65 divines per. The Omen of Corruption removes the option number 1 to do nothing, so there are 3 options. We want it to hit number 2, meaning that it will take 3 tries to do so. After it chooses that, the jewel has 2 integer-related lines of affixes, which are 2 to 4% intelligence, as you can see here, and 2 to 4% dexterity. The first thing it's going to do is divine both, right? Meaning that it can be roll either a 2, a 3, or a 4 on the intelligence, or a 2, 3, or 4 on the dexterity, both of which are a 1 in 3. That means that it's going to take 9 attempts on average just to hit the 4 and 4 on the max roll. Meaning at this stage, it's a 1 in 3 times a 1 in 9, which means it will take 27 attempts on average just for it to have a 4-4. The next thing it's going to do is pick a random value between 0.78 and 1.22. Now, it's going to do that independently. The odds of this for any individual outcome are 1 in 45 because it goes 0.78, 0.77, 0.76, or sorry, it goes upwards, 0.79, 0.80, and on the positive side, it goes like times 0.01, 0.2, 3, 4, etc. So there's 45 of them in total. Since these will round up to the closest whole number, which is a unique thing with corruptions here, that means that if you get anywhere with like 0.5 or higher, when you're getting this calculation with the corruptions, it will round up to the next whole number. So that means that you need to get at least 4.5 to hit 5%. The lowest roll that we can get then between times 0.78 and times 1.22 is times 1.13, because that'll give you 4 times 1.13 is 4.52, which would then round up to 5. Therefore, the possible outcomes here would be anything between times 1.13 and times 1.22, which is 10 total modifiers, or 10 total outcomes. And so it becomes 10 out of 45, or 1 in 4.5. That means for each one of them to go to 5, it is, again, 1 in 4.5. Therefore, it is 1 in 3 times 1 in 9 times 1 in 4.5 times 1 in 4.5. Oh, Jesus. There we go. Which means it is 547 attempts on average to hit a 5-5. The cost of an uncorrupted jewel is 65 divines, which is 547 times 65, which equals 35,555 divines. The Omen of Corruption are 0.6 divs each, so 547 times 0.6 is 328, and 547 Vaal Orbs is 1 div. Therefore, the total cost to make it is 35,555 divines, plus 328 divines, and plus 1 divine, which means that our final cost to make this, on average, is 35,884 divines. Currently, the price of mirrors are 935 divines each, which means to make this jewel would cost, on average, 38.38 mirrors. As I said, I paid 2 mirrors for mine, so naturally, I was very, very excited about this. The problem with something like this, again, it's not largely theoretical math. This is an EV calculation. However, when you look at it from a practical sense, outside of the theoretical math, you'll notice that there are just simply not enough of these dexterity to actually do this on average. And so an item like this, in particular, is very cool because, it's very much a seller's market. Because if you look, there's only 39 of these jewels uncorrupted of any value, right? And you'll start to scroll up here and you'll see that, they quickly go to 69, 70, 71, 72, 75, 76, up and up and up and up. 200s are out of the question, right? But so that means that there's actually 37 of them. A couple AFKs, let's say you were able to get 35. So as I said, it's, 547 on average? So realistically, you're not going to be able to do this in a single sitting anyways. And so online or offline, there's only 161. So it would take you 3.5 times as many as are posted on the auction house, period. And if we look here for 5-5, there's not a single one of them. Oh, corrupted, sorry. Nope, still not a single one. How about 4-5? There's 1-4-5. This is still a very good 7 hours ago. If anyone's watching this, that's still very, very, very good value and also a very good jewel. I would certainly buy that for a mirror if I didn't have this one. But there you go. So that's how you do the accounting on that. Again, super stoked to have that. It's definitely a bit of a luxury item. However, if you take note here, I do have the, sorry, what's the name of this jewel again? The From Nothing around Resonance, which allows you to take Seeing Stars, Event Horizon, Spaghettification, True Strike, and for the Jugular for a single point each. And each one of these gives us 5% Dex and Int now as well. Plus, going up here, I take Deep Trance and Pliable Flesh, which means that we're getting 35% Dexterity and 35% Intelligence just from this one jewel. If we look, I have 1,355 Dex, 975 Int. If I take that out, we're losing 173 int and 220 dexterity or something with obviously with an attribute stacker. That is not insignificant. 3.2 million tooltip on that. What would that be? 2.3. So that's giving us like 50% more damage just from the jewel there. Not to mention I still have the option perhaps with a Megalomaniac to get like quick response, faded end, and hindered capabilities, which means we're still capable of getting another 15% into dex there if we really wanted to. And not on top of that, of course, you also get the effect of the notables themselves as well, which is not to be discounted. I've been having a lot of fun playing this build though. It's only been, how long ago did I make this? About 8 days ago, and then about 2 or 3 of those days I was away doing other things. So I've been actually playing this for like 5 days, but those of you who think, or always, not always criticize me, but who ask if I ever leave my hideout, I finally exited the boardroom, as I like to call it, and I've been doing lots of, boss killing and stuff. I haven't particularly enjoyed the maps. I find them to be incredibly frustrating, and there's far too many, collision detection objects and things that just seem very slow. But bosses have been a lot of fun, and so I've been doing some farming there. I'm not following a build guide, and I've been adjusting things as I go here. But, the character has a 100% crit chance, like 700 crit bonus. I've got the maximum amount of pen that you can have. My shocks do 36% more, as we've got like 3,200 total attributes. It's been pretty fun. I can more or less one-shot everything within about half a second. So I've been having a good time with that. And once I have, the things put together in a way that I think is worthwhile of sharing, where I'm not kind of sitting on the fence with where I'm going to put what or anything like that, I will definitely share that with you guys here on YouTube. So again, I'll post this this document here just showing the cost accounting for the jewel. And you can use that as a sort of a tangent to figure out what the odds are on your corruptions. There are some variables to this that can be a little bit more complicated when you get to like something like, let's say, an ingenuity belt, because you don't need to hit 80%, right? Like you could get, if you had a 70% roll and you got 22% on the thing, right? If the divine picks 70%, it would be 70 times 1.22, which is 85, right? So it's not like you have to get the 80 out of 80 on the divine. And so it complicates the math a little bit. The jewels are a simpler way to calculate it, but as a baseline, you can do that. And if you've got some more advanced math skills, or perhaps somebody can put together a spreadsheet or an Excel document for it, then I encourage you to do so. But either way, that's how you calculate that. That's how you look at the cost accounting. And naturally, when I can talk about the price to make it there, that's just accounting for cost. Obviously, in the process of attempting that, if you were to do so, you would be able to sell off, any one of them that is 4-4, or any one of them that goes 5-4 or 5-4, or gets an implicit or has nothing happen because it chooses a socket. It's not like it's going to be 35,000. And that justifies the cost from a cost accounting basis. But certainly the 2 mirrors that I paid was far below what it would take to make. On average, I would anticipate somewhere between 5 to 10 mirrors would be a more accurate price. I didn't buy it to flip it or anything like that. I am trying to min-max this character out as best I can, just to see, with the quote-unquote infinite currency, what would be possible. So we have some of the, like the 100% adorned, the 98% ingenuity, 20 above max dexterity, above max intelligence, one of the best Howas in the game, the 14-14-14 with 30 spirit, things like that. So we're just going to go for as many sort of quote-unquote perfect things as we can and see how far we can take this. Obviously, it's not a functional thing at this point. You know, I've spent about 16 or 17 mirrors on the character in the past week. Obviously, within a half a mirror of investment, even less, you could one-shot pretty much everything in the game. Not one-shot, but kill it within a second or two. So this is more of an exercise in min-maxing just to see what's possible, not really a utilitarian thing. But hopefully you guys found that useful. And if you want any more tips on how to figure things out or how to be able to calculate, the cost associated with any kind of crafts or whatever, feel free to ask in the comments below, and I'd be happy to address them. All right, guys. If you enjoyed that stuff, if you could throw a like, leave a comment, share the video, or sub to the channel, obviously that helps. Be dropping some more stuff soon. I do have a video uploaded on how to know when to use omens and how to know if an item is good versus a craft being good, and how to proceed with those. I did it pretty offhandedly, so I'm just going to review the video before I make that public, just to make sure the information is palatable enough and is not too sort of fragmented. But stay tuned for that, and I hope you guys have been having a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Cheers.